Welcome dancers, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Mr. Elisha, and today I'm going to give you the brief introduction and the brief history of my entire dance career and my dance training as a male ballet dancer. So I can never really honestly remember, but it was really about like the fourth or the fifth grade that I started dancing. And how old exactly I was, I can't remember. I'd have to ask my parents and figure out exactly how old I was when I actually started. But what actually happened was I saw my sister rehearsing for the end of the year performance with the California Ballet School, and the wings went up as the rehearsal was over, and I saw people hanging out backstage, and it really intrigued me to see what people were doing back there, and I wanted to hang out with them. So that evening, before I went to bed, I asked my dad, could I do ballet? Could I try ballet? So I started dancing at the California Ballet School down in San Diego, where I completed 1 year. I did the Nutcracker, and that was many shows. I'm talking, I don't know, that must have been at least 30 shows. And actually, at the time of this recording, it is February 3rd, 2024, and Maxime Mahone, who was the director and the founder of the California Ballet Company and the California Ballet School, just passed away. I believe it was January 14th of this year, 2024. So after my first year of dancing at the California Ballet School, where I had, I believe it was Miss Brenda and Miss Denise as my instructors, I went up to the Bay Area because my mother was to attend school at the University of California, Berkeley to complete her PhD in epidemiology. And I danced at the Contra Costa Ballet School, where I trained for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe it was 6 years I was there. And that was the school directed by Zola Deschong and Richard Kamek. And that's where I got the bulk of my foundational ballet training, as well as was introduced to the world of ballet beyond California, beyond my hometown. That's where I heard of instances of the American Ballet Theater, the School of American Ballet, and all of that, where all of these teachers that I was with had performed and trained with in the past. So we also had Katarina Wester, who's now the interim director at the San Francisco Ballet School and was all of our favorite instructors. She was my first instructor at the Contra Costa Ballet School, really brought us up from nothing. She meant a lot to us. She has a beautiful spirit and a beautiful energy. I cannot say enough great things about Miss Katarina. She's one of the best teachers, and she is a product of the North, like myself. Nilsson is my last name, it's a Norwegian last name, and Miss Katarina is from Sweden. We also had Emily Borthwick, who's a product of the United Kingdom, Richard Kamek, American Ballet Theater, as well as Zola, American Ballet Theater, and of course, I will not forget Charles Anderson, Charlie, from the New York City Ballet. He was a soloist with the New York City Ballet and was really the instructor that helped me with my foundational men's training, along with Richard. And then of course we had Nikolai Kabaniev come through, a Russian guy, a product of the Vaganova Academy out in Russia. And we also had Tina LeBlanc. Man, I can't remember this other shorty's name. I can't remember this other lady's name, but she was a German instructor. Anyways, it was quite interesting training at the Contra Costa Ballet School for many years, and it really introduced me to the world of ballet beyond my hometown. What ends up happening is I get introduced to the whole entire summer intensive situation. So if you don't know, a lot of dancers will be training at their home studio, like my home studio, Contra Costa Ballet, in Walnut Creek, California in the East Bay. And then every year, January, February, March, there's auditions for summer intensives where you can go to one of the prestigious ballet schools like the Pacific Northwest Ballet School of American Ballet, American Ballet Theater, the schools that are attached to the bigger companies where professional ballet dancers train and perform year-round in big theaters in big cities. So it's an exciting opportunity to get seen by the top institutions in the United States and a chance to go away and train with some of the best instructors and the best dancers that are chosen to attend the summer intensive. So I ended up going to the San Francisco Ballet Summer Intensive. I ended up going to the Harrod Conservatory Intensive down in Boca Raton, Florida. And then I ended up going to the School of American Ballet Intensive in New York City in Lincoln Center. And then last but not least, I went 2 summers to the American Ballet Theater Summer Intensive. Now, as far as which programs I also got offers from, there was a specific Northwest Ballet. There was a few others. I'm honestly, Royal Ballet, I was given a scholarship to, didn't end up attending there, but there was a lot of choices for me. And as a male ballet dancer, it's one of the great things that you are oftentimes afforded more choices. From my first summer intensive at the San Francisco Ballet School, I was not asked to attend the year-round program as I had wished. However, while I was dancing in the Contra Costa Ballet School and after I attended the Harrod Conservatory summer, I had attended an audition and was asked to stay for the winter program at the San Francisco Ballet School. So following Contra Costa Ballet, I did a year at the San Francisco Ballet School and subsequently was kicked out of the program, most likely because I missed every single Monday for orchestra rehearsal. My instructors at the San Francisco Ballet School include Parrish Mignard, who danced in American Ballet Theater with Baryshnikov, for example, and Yuko Katsumi, who now I believe teaches at the Contra Costa Ballet School, interestingly enough, Jeff Lyons, and a few others. We're not going to mention all the instructors right now, but the bottom line is I did 1 year at the San Francisco Ballet School, was kicked out, had nowhere to go, pressure against the walls at the School of American Ballet, summer intensive, got asked to stay, and that was my chance to stay in the real professional ballet world and not have to go back to my home studio. Went to the School of American Ballet for 2 years, and following a summer intensive at the American Ballet Theater, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis School, I went as a level 7 student with the JKO School at ABT, and from there basically flatlined my dance career. I was given a few company contracts. The one that I was going to take was with the Ballet Met in Columbus, Ohio. I didn't want to move to Ohio from New York, so I stayed in New York, struggled it out, made videos, tried new styles of dance, got my ABT teacher trainer certificate from pre-primary to level 4, and ended up doing a small stint with the Connecticut Ballet where we performed in a prison amongst a few other places, which was interesting. And ultimately I ended up starting teaching, and then from there I went over to San Diego. And the whole thing came full circle. Upon moving to San Diego, I aspired to just continue with my teaching because I, at that time, wasn't really interested in dancing anymore as much. I wanted to just teach. It was paying well. I enjoyed it. And what ended up happening was I went to the California Ballet School to inquire about teaching, and turns out they needed a contract for a male dancer. So I ended up dancing the season with the California Ballet School, with the California Ballet Company, which started with Nutcracker. And boy, was that a lot of shows. It was quite fun. It was great being back in the Civic Theater where I danced when I was a young child. And then we went forward with our rock and blues program, which was quite interesting. We danced to a Pink Floyd medley, 3 different songs, another Brick in the Wall, Hello, is anybody out there? The other one. And then following that, we went and what do we do next, dude? Following that, we had our beer and ballet program where I choreographed a piece for all these dancers, and then COVID hit. And then dance was totally done for me. Until recently, where I started teaching ballet again at 2 of these smaller schools up here in North County, along with my full-time videography work with Well Tech Designs. And I'm enjoying that immensely. And that brings me to now. So now, after years and years and years of trying and failing, of recording different kinds of content, I am bringing to you my foundational, complete adult ballet beginner series. And the reason that I'm doing it now, all of a sudden, is because back in August, I met someone through a friend named Mackenzie. And you all know Mackenzie is in my first beginner ballet adult video that is on this channel. Not my original one. If you remember my original one, which now has 30,000 views, that was a live stream that I did by myself during COVID. It was actually directed towards my younger students as well as my own YouTube live stream, which I saved for other adults to look at. But the language is off, the audio is off, everything's off. Now we're doing it in a way where the audio, the performance quality, the production quality is way, way, way improved, and it's gonna be better for all of you guys at home to watch and to use as a guide alongside with your training. And there's absolutely no better way to do that than to have someone with you that you can teach instead of demonstrating yourself, so you can see what I'm teaching applied to another dancer, not only just another dancer, but mind you, Mackenzie is a beginner adult student, and she has started ballet late in her life, and she's learning everything from basically zero. She has some foundational knowledge, she has some port brush, she has some training already, but she's at an elevated beginner level. So she's at a level that you guys would expect to be at for the most part if you're just getting into it, or maybe if you've been into it for a bit and you have not learned the foundational basics, so you're being held back because things are not exactly easy for you and you're finding yourself failing, not able to remember the combination, etc., etc. You have Mackenzie. So I met Mackenzie, we make the classes together, it's exciting, and this has been the story of my entire dance career. It's been, I don't know, I think I was either 8, I either say I was 8 or 9. It couldn't have been 8. I must have been 9 or 10 when I started dancing. So I'm 28 now. So it's quite a bit of years. It's almost 20 years, like 18. How many years is that? 10 plus 10. Yeah, 18 years. We're looking at about 18 years of experience in ballet, training, dancing every day, stretching, everything. But most importantly, and why I believe you guys should pay attention to me, is because I do have the teacher trainers curriculum certification from the American Ballet Theater, which actually is something I take very seriously and that I pull a lot of my knowledge from, because without a methodology, without a system, without a process, you're not going to be a great teacher, okay? I pull from a lot of different teachers that I've had in the past as far as my teaching style goes, and I use the curriculum as a base for what I do. I also have my own way of working, my own way of thinking, but I think a lot of dancers and adult dancers and students get tied up in, I want a teacher that's a great dancer. And what I've found time and time again is that not all great dancers are great teachers. Not all great teachers are great dancers, but some great teachers are great dancers and some great dancers are great teachers. It varies across the board, but for the most part, it's been strongly indicated to me that if a dancer is great, their teaching may necessarily not be that great. And I've seen that time and time again. Because really, this is art of communication, it's an art of mastery, it's an art of understanding the technique well enough within yourself that you can translate that to others. And that's what I have. And that's what I have to bring to the table. And this has been the story of my dance career thus far, and I look forward to continuing it with all of you. This is the future. This is internet ballet. This is our world. I'll see you guys in the next video. Reverence.